Is it working? Okay. So let's begin from where we stopped in the last class, okay? We looked at an example. So let's discuss some components, some more components of an effective presentation. There has to be a defined purpose. By defined purpose, we mean the clear idea of the purpose. So we looked at different presentation types, right? Some presentations are instructional, some others are informative, there are persuasive presentations, and lastly, there was another type, motivational or inspirational. In the present day context, nowadays, the fourth one is more popular than the other three, right? This is what we discussed. So the purpose should be clear to the presenter, whether or not they are informing the audience about something, instructing about something, or motivating or inspiring. These things should be clearly stated, okay, beforehand and practiced. Also, there should be a logical flow in the speech, okay? We talked about the structure of a presentation. It must have an introduction, it must have a body, then a conclusion or the ending. So this logic must be maintained, this flow must be maintained, okay? Sometimes it can be strategically done. You can introduce the topic in the beginning, or you can use some other strategies like a rhetorical question or an example from what you have faced or experienced to connect the audience or to hint at the idea of the topic, of the purpose, okay? Then the structure and organization. Yes, please. Okay, so the structure or the organization. Yes, please, come in, take a seat. Okay, so the organization or the structure, it's pretty much the same thing as I just said. There should be a logical flow of the beginning, the body, and the ending, okay? The audience must be able to understand where you begun and how you are proceeding, going in deep, in depth to the topic. And we discussed the last point too. It must be audience-centric, right? Audience should be the primary focus of a presentation, because we are here, or the presenters are here, with a purpose to do something for the audience. Isn't that right? Okay. Some strategies or tools to construct what you will be saying, how you will be presenting. These are a few examples. Let's take a look at these. So rhetorical questions, we talked about these. Questions in form or in tone are questions but requiring no answer. These are known as rhetorical questions. It is a really powerful or strong tool of a presentation. Then we have personal experiences. So this is done during a presentation to make your speech more relatable to the audience, right? Reminiscing, remembering about past happenings or instances. This is what reminiscing means, okay? So you take an instance from the past which can be related, which can be connected with what you are speaking, okay? With the information you are giving, all right? So that the audience can also visualize certain matters for clarity, okay? Also, stories, references to real life or case studies in form of examples, something happening to someone else, or you must have read it in an article or heard it from someone. Those can be included too, depending on the topic and the purpose of the presentation. Interesting facts must be included. So remember, we talked about making or constructing our speech in a concise or short form. If you are only choosing the interesting facts, it becomes short on its own, okay? Sequencing, we just talked about this, sequencing of events or points. Saying one thing in the beginning, then ordering in a logical manner, okay? Sequencing is important. The next thing is engaging the audience. I keep reminding you of this point over and over again because this is essential, okay? This is a primary or chief requirement of presentations. So it depends on the delivery of the speech, how well or how effectively you are choosing your words, how well you are modulating your voice, how well your gestures are, okay? These things will show how effectively you are being able to deliver the speech or meeting the purpose, okay, fulfilling the purpose of it. Interaction, so we watched it in the example earlier. How do we know interaction is being completed? Some responses from the audience, maybe a laughter or questions from the audience. These are the signs which will let you know that there is an interaction between you and the listeners going on, okay? Engaging the audience in such a manner and make your speech clear, which does not mean that you will have to explain a lot, keep talking. It can be done in a short form, okay, in short. So for that, we will have to do a lot of research and practicing beforehand, okay? The preparedness of a speaker is what matters. So we need to keep it simple. You don't have to make it complex. The picture shows a complex form of line, right? It's not straight at all. Twisted, spiraled. Isn't that so? So try not to do it like that, your presentation or speech. Try to keep it as simple as this straight line, okay? This thing will ensure clarity and audience engagement, okay? So like this one is an example. Follow the same thing in your slides too. We will proceed to how to prepare slides. Not right now, later on. So keep the pictures or images in your slides, if you are putting any, including any, relatable. Try to choose the pictures that are relatable, that make sense clearly. So types of presentation, we took a look at this as well. Now the first one is informative. Some aspects or some elements of an informative speech. So there should be an attention-grabbing statement, which we call the hook, because it hooks the audience. All right? The main points should be there, but because this is informative, there has to be some evidence. Without evidence, it's just you uttering your opinion or feelings. So informative presentations should have evidences or facts, right? Take note of these matters so you don't forget. And lastly, there should be a summary in the end, or at least a closing statement, okay? A weak presentation. We have been talking about how effective a presentation can be made. But what are some of the weaknesses? Too much information. If you are presenting using slides, try not to put too much or a lot of information in your slides, okay? It becomes a distraction, right? Also, lack or absence of evidence. If what you are stating is supported by evidence, it becomes more trustworthy or believable, right? So that is a weak point, lack of evidence or absence of it entirely. Poor delivery. So we discussed that earlier. If the presenter is too self-conscious, the delivery won't show confidence, right? So keep that in mind. Lack or absence of interaction. If you are only speaking and doing just that, not making any eye contact, trying not to understand the facial expressions, which are non-verbal communication, okay? If you are not doing that, trying to not understand those matters, those features, there will be an absence of interaction, okay? So this is another weak side of a presentation, okay? When you prepare for a presentation, keep these matters in mind, okay? Lack of preparation can lead to a failed presentation, okay? The purpose won't be fulfilled, it won't be met. So preparation is a key. Then reading from the slides, it's another weakness. We have to prepare a lot, we have to prepare well, so that we don't have to keep looking at the slides and just continue reading. Because we can't do two things at once. Here we are doing three things at once. Reading, speaking, reading aloud, and trying to interact or connect with the audience. So try to avoid this. It's a strict no-no, reading from the slides, right? A weak presentation continues. So text-heavy slides. We talked about putting too much information or not putting too much information. Text-heavy slides, if you are talking about a point, say for example, you are writing down the whole definition of it, including a lot of examples. That makes a slide text-heavy, okay? It can also create distractions, right? So this is another weakness. Also, excessive reliance on technology. Because a power cut may happen, your device may malfunction. So excessive reliance on such things, devices, technology, may lead to an ineffective presentation. If you are presenting at your workplace, remember, trying not to do that, okay? So with that, we have come to an end of this. Can someone please turn it off?